Hi everybody, welcome to Working Horses with Jim. I'm Jim, and today we're going to talk about a bunch of different things and do a bunch of different things. So this is Wednesday when we're making this video, come out on Friday, but it was 2 weeks ago today when we took off and headed down to Pennsylvania for the Horse Progress Days. When we left, it was starting to get dry. So we went down there and it was very hot and dry down there. We came back up here and it was still fairly dry and nice. Since that time, we have had a lot of rain. In this 2-week period, we have actually got 9.5 inches of rain. Last week, our rain gauge was at 5.5 inches. We dumped the rain gauge, and in the last 48 hours, we've got another 4 inches of rain. So as you can imagine, that's a lot of rain. It also makes it very hard for me to make hay. I did make some hay one day, let me think here. When I got back, I did do the round bales and wrapping in my oat field, and then I was able to get one field. I had a little pocket, a little window of time where I was able to get one portion of the lower farm done. And since then, I was hoping to mow hay this morning, but we got so much rain again, even last night, that I cannot mow hay because there's water sitting everywhere in the fields. So those are just the trials of farming. This morning I hitched up Bill and Baron and did their exercises for them. I was able to do some sawing in the sawmill. The vet just came up and left, and she did Coggins tests for Bill and Baron and rabies for all the horses. As you can see out here to our right is the two of the horses. We have Ken and Bree out to pasture right now, and all the rest are inside. So let's go inside and see what we're going to be working on today. So the garden is doing pretty good this year. Last night Brenda videoed a little bit in this garden to show you what the rain was doing last night, so we'll go see that.
I wanted to show you guys our garden right now. We just got done with another series of rain showers, thunderstorms. There's literally water running through the garden here. See that running water? And some of the leaves from our pumpkins, etc., are turning yellow from all the rain we got. As you can see, the hayfields are very wet. Jim had a plan to cut some more hay, but he's going to have to wait a little bit with this rain we got. And I know that some of my family that I saw over the weekend is suffering from severe drought down in places like Virginia. So I feel bad for them, and then we've got all this rain here. Things are crazy sometimes. Just wanted to show you guys. I'm sure it'll all be fine. It's just very wet. Wet chicken. Be sweet. We'll keep you posted.
So I have Lady tied. We bought her in just a few minutes ago. And I'm going to catch June and give her lesson for the day. We'll see how that goes. It's surprising how hard it is to actually catch June. As soon as I get my hands on her, she just settles right down. But so often when I walk up to her, she kind of turns and hides herself with Mama. But that's okay. Because of the fact that as soon as I touch her, she's fine, I don't have a problem with that. So I'll use, a lot of times in this situation, I'll use Lady to actually make it easier. So, there you go. So as soon as I touch her, she's usually quite good. But for some reason, that initial catching her isn't always the easiest. Be kind of nice to have our grandkids around that have lots of time to just play with her. And they probably could get her more used to people and being caught. But after she's caught, after I have a hold of her, she's doing really, really good. So let's lead her out of here. Brenda's going to just follow me. June is doing really good. Come here. June is doing really good as far as leading, but I still like to, at this stage, I still prefer having Brenda behind me. Most of the time it's not at all, nothing that she needs to do. But if there is something that she needs to do, if June stops and doesn't want to follow me, then I like to have Brenda right here behind her to just touch her, and then she leads so much better. When I'm right here with Lady's kind of talking to us a little bit, which makes it a little bit hard. But I'm going to pick her feet up now, and she's still doing quite well lifting her feet up. And I probably should take more time and actually clean her feet up a little bit, just to spend more time picking. But it's most important to just to pick those feet up and just to have her let you hold her foot. And she does this so well. You know, if she didn't do so well, it would work better if somebody would actually hold her while I fooled with her feet. But since she generally stands so nice, I don't need to. Give me. Atta girl. Atta girl. It's such a muddy mess in the barnyard as the horses are running out and about. They are getting their feet, of course, all dirty. But that's just the way it is sometimes. So I'm going to lead June past my horses, which she sometimes is hesitant to do, especially if Lady's calling for her. But she usually does pretty good as far as coming out of the barn. The horses are great about not bothering her. So we'll lead her outside a little bit. It's just so good to separate her and Lady, her mother. Come here. Come here. Come here. For both their sakes, just the sake of having Lady used to her losing her foal for a little bit, and for June being, walking away from Lady. So this is actually the first time I think I've ever come into the sawmill building, but I don't think it should be a problem.
You want some gentle persuasion here?
Yep. I've done this so much, starting with Duke and Earl when I got them. I spend so much time walking in and out of this barn, and then with Bree, and now with June. When you have young horses, the more time you can put with them, leading them around, just getting them used to you, the better. The more you can get them to stand and stand still, the better.
She seems to like to walk right behind you.
That's the way I like to have it.
And she's wearing her fur off
Yeah,
here.
you can see her around her eyes.
So do you think she's going to be that dark as soon as
Oh, I have no idea. Her ears too. I don't know if you've noticed her ears.
Yeah, and right here.
Yeah, okay. See their ears?
Yeah. That's pretty dark if that's in her butt.
Yeah, it's hard to say. So we'll lead her up here a little ways. Don't know how far she will go without a fight, but so far she's great. I probably won't attempt to go very far. Every time she hears Lady, you'd think she'd really freak out, but she really doesn't that bad. Easy, girl. Easy, easy, easy. So in the process of leading her, just like it would be for any animal, you want them to follow you, but you do not want them to push into you or try to get away from you. So it's a process of getting them to walk good without trying to invade your space. I don't know if she'll do what I want her to do here, but I want to walk over here and show you guys what I did this morning for a little while. Oh.
Nice and piney in here.
Yeah, it's cutting pine. This is a custom order. A guy brought some pine over. So that's all the edgings there that we need to put through the edger. That's the finished product there. 1x, 2x4s, 2x6s, just a little bit. Everything that the guy wanted sawed. And then over here, the slabwood pile, as you can see, it's all banded up, ready to go out. And I'll come in here with the skid steer and scoop that up with the forks. And I'll take it out to my outdoor furnace and I'll cut that up and that'll all be burnt in the outdoor furnace. Easy. So what I do when she tries to go ahead, I kind of put my arm there and my elbow there so she runs into it, runs into something hard, and that will help her to realize, oh, I can't do that. So that's what we're doing with that. This is probably the longest time I've pulled her out and let her alone without Lady. And so let's talk about Lady just a little bit. So I've been asked, easy girl, I've been asked a bunch of times now, am I going to get Lady bred back? You know, is this going to be Lady's last foal, or is she going to have more foals? Well, we don't know definitely the answer to that as to whether or not she's going to have more foals. But the answer of whether we're going to breed her is yes. And as a matter of fact, it is already done. We decided to breed Lady to a Belgian this time. So a friend of mine has a pulling bred Belgian, not a very big one, you know, probably about the size of Lady. I've actually got some pictures and I'll give you some pictures. The stud is an Amish farm and they're using the stud there and breeding mares. And so we were able to go over the last couple nights and get her bred. We actually took her over. It was quite a long process. This farm, let me walk with her. This farm is like 18 miles from us, and I chose not to take Lady to the farm. I chose to I took her to the farm, but I take her there every single day I went there instead of leaving her at the farm. I didn't feel comfortable leaving Lady and June at the farm and have them take care of her. I really wanted to keep them at home. So I brought them home every single time. And so I took her there thinking about the 28th day after she had June that she should be starting to come into heat. Well, she was not in heat. Went back on the 30th day. She was not in heat. Turned around, I think the 31st day, she was not in heat. Then I believe it was on the 33rd day, she was finally starting to show heat, although not really, really good heat, but she did stand for the stallion. And then on the final day, which is either the 33rd or 34th, I can't remember exactly, she finally stood really good for the stud. If I had a stud at home, like I did the last 2 years with Baron, I would have bred her again even the next day, which would have been today. But I think they were sick of seeing me come in with Lady, and she was not very cooperative. And I was sick of driving that trip. So, easy. When I come back with June, she gets kind of rambunctious. And so, we're going to leave it at that, and I'm pretty sure she probably got bred. I just talked to the vet this morning, and we're going to try to do an ultrasound on Lady at 16 or 18 days. I can't remember what she said, which is surprising that they can do that early to find out if she's bred, which is great. Oh.
I'm sure she said 18.
Yeah, I think so. So I won't need to go back if she's bred. If she's not bred at that time, well, then we're going to decide, do we want to try it again? And like I said, Lady was such a pain in the neck taking her there. It was kind of tough. But we're pretty sure she was in good heat and she got bred at the right time. So you might ask, well, why in the world did you go to using a Belgian instead of a Suffolk like I have the last 2 years? And, you know, that's a great question. But I don't, for one, the semen for Baron is basically all gone. And that's great. But I also decided, as much as I like the Suffolk breed and Baron and especially, I decided, you know, I think it's going to be better if I try something new. So I decided to try something new with the Belgian. Also, June and Brie, depending on how long I keep them, would not be able to be bred to Baron, even if he was still a stallion. So we'd need another stallion. So by experimenting with the Belgians, I can decide, make a better decision as to who and if I want to get the young ones bred. So I want to make it very clear that I'm not in any way disappointed in Baron and Baron's abilities. He is doing so good. This morning, this morning I had Bill and Baron on the stone boat, and I was just so pleased with how well he's doing pulling a heavy load. And what I do is I will take them around this loop I have here, and then tie them, and then go do something else, and then come back and do it again. And it's kind of like the way it would be if I was logging. They'd pull out a heavy load, then I'd cut the next tree, and they'd get a rest while I'm doing that, and then they pull another heavy load. And that works really good for me. I can't believe how long I've had her out here, and she's been so good away from her mother. But I think enough is enough. One other quick thing though, you might be curious how well she loaded into the trailer. Well, with Lady beside her, there was times I just came out of the barn, I didn't even have anything on her, and she just followed us right up into the trailer. So she was not a problem at all. So that was great. So let me get her inside, and yeah, I'm very pleased with how she's doing. Come here. Yes. We're right here. It's amazing. Lady gets so much more upset than June does. So I'm going to bring her up here, and I'm going to give her one more foot check. Oh. Atta girl. Man, atta girl. Atta girl. Yep. Atta girl. Atta girl. Good girl. Good girl. Let me come over here. Come here. Give me your foot. Atta girl. Yep. Come here. Good girl. It won't be long, and we'll actually be trimming a little bit off her toes. Okay. There are some comments that I've seen in the comment section of late that I have not answered, and I really want to answer some of those comments, but it's just too difficult to answer them by words, you know, by pen, I guess you could say. So I want to take some time in my videos. Maybe I did this once a while back. At the end of my videos, I just kind of answered a bunch of questions, and maybe we can even start doing that even. So I don't want you guys to stop putting in questions, but I can understand how you'd be kind of discouraged if you put in questions for me to answer and I just never answer them. So I'm going to try harder to answer some of them at the end of my videos. And so maybe even right now we'll try to answer a couple. Yep. No. So now we'll let them loose. They have the ability to go basically in and out of this barn 24/7. And lady gets grain usually in the morning, sometimes at night also. And then at some point we try to get a little lesson in for June. So anyhow, let's find a few questions for you guys. Good. Okay, so I got some questions here. I got a dog that doesn't belong here. A few questions, and as you can see, Skip just loves to be in the limelight. And obviously, yes, we do wash the table before we use it to eat with when Skip's around, because we know at some point he's been on this table. Anyways, a couple questions here. One guy asked, what do you do if a horse breaks a leg? And I'm sure this was on the video of we did a little while back cutting the oats, and there was a groundhog hole, and there was a hole in the ground, which does happen, that horses, especially if they're running, they'll step in these groundhog holes and they will break a leg. So what do we do? Generally, there's nothing you can do for a broken leg. Years ago, we had a horse, a 4-year-old, and his name was Chief. And he actually got kicked by one of my stallions while I was working. I'd been plowing all day, and I was feeding him lunch, and my stallion kicked him and actually broke his leg. And we had him in the sling, a sling, for 5 weeks. The vet was trying to save him, and there just was no saving. He got atrophied in his shoulder. It was a front leg that got broken, and so we ended up having to put him down. If that was to ever happen again, I would just put the horse down. I would not try to attempt to save it, because it was just too hard, those 5 weeks trying to save it, and it's just so often it's just not. Hey, come on, get down here. Hey. So often it just usually doesn't come out very well. So that's what happens when a horse breaks a leg. It's surprising. We thought we had a whole bunch of questions, and then Brenda and I kind of looked through the videos a little bit trying to find them, and they're so hard to find. So, but anyways, we got a couple here. There was quite a few people had questions about Kai from our video of the 2 German guys that were here to visit us, and I'm not even going to answer those, because hopefully Kai might see these and even come back and answer them. People have asked about mules. You know, what's the chances of me ever getting mules? Of course, they saw the mules in our Horse Progress Days videos, and I'd have to say that the chances of getting mules up here are pretty slim. So that's it about mules. One guy from Ireland had a question. What's the difference between our oats in Ireland? It's gold in color when we cut next month. Why is yours so green? Well, because when I cut my oats, I'm not cutting them for grain. I'm cutting them for silage. So we cut them before they mature. We cut them before they get that golden color, like our oats do, just like yours do. If I wanted to have them for grain, I'd have to keep them longer in the field so they get that nice gold color, and then we would harvest them for grain. But since I cut them for silage, we cut them when they're green. That's why I shoot to get to that milk stage point for them. And yeah, another person actually asked here, there's someplace here on these questions, what's the purpose of wrapping these bales? Well, that's a great question. And if you're not familiar with them, I would understand you asking that question. In farm country, so many people nowadays do a lot of this wrapping these round bales. And what it does is you bale it when it's still a little bit wet, and you wrap it. And so then it goes through a fermenting process, so that, I don't even know how to explain it completely, but it's a way to get hay off the field sooner than if you're trying to dry it. So that's what we do sometimes. Sometimes we'll dry it to make dry hay. Sometimes we'll wrap it to make haylage. And it's just a different process to accomplish the same thing of getting your crops. So that's about it for questions. Here's one guy asked how long is my cutter bar on my sickle, on my mow machine, and it's a 6-foot cut. I have thought about getting a 7-foot cut and doing it that way so I can cut a little bit wider path. As I went down to Horse Progress Day, I saw all this newfangled equipment with quite a high price tag, and I am perfectly happy farming the way I farm with my old stuff. If I was to go into debt and to buy all this high-priced machinery with the income that I make off my farm, it wouldn't quite justify it. The last question I have is from Anna. So this is not a question I want to answer today, but this is a question I hope to answer even in Monday's video. So she asked, my horse won't stand still after I give her the command to stop. He backs up, then tries to pull ahead, and he's just dancing all around and just not standing still. So what are some of the things I might be able to do to help that? So I hope to even on Monday put out a video hitching up Duke and Earl and explain a few things as to how they've been working, and even some things as to how it might help you with your horse to get your horses to stand better and all that good stuff. So anyways, that's it for our video today. You guys have a great day. We shall see you next time.
June's learning what it's like to go to the barber here. This is Lady's first haircut since June was born. She's doing a great job just hanging out by her mom.